Okay, let me get my notes pulled up. Okay, welcome everybody. Thanks for coming tonight. And we're going to talk about getting started working the business. A lot of people join Plexus kind of with the attitude that I had, which was basically that I wanted to get the cheapest possible price on my products. I had really no intention of working the business. I wasn't looking for a job. I was a happy stay-at-home mom. And all of that changed. And when it did change, I needed some direction. I needed to know what to do. Where do I start? What's the best way to do these things? How have other people who have been successful done it? How can I take those things and make them my own and use my own talents? And basically just where to start. So that's the purpose of this training tonight. For me to pass on to you. What is that, Jana?
I have no idea.
That might be my phone. It's telling me a flash flood warning.
Oh, okay. Do you want to mute participants, Jana?
Yes. Sorry.
No problem.
I don't think I know how to.
If you click participants, you can mute them one by one. Whoever you want.
Okay. Gotcha.
Okay. Let me go back to my notes page. Okay. So anyway, we're going to talk about what to do as you're getting started working this business. First of all, I gave you a little bit of my personal story, but I'll give you just a little bit more. I wanted to use the products for the cheapest possible price, but I had also watched a couple of very good friends of mine climb the ranks in this company very fast. And I was seeing actual numbers that they were willing to boldly share about what their income looked like. And I was blown away by the potential. I had been exposed to a lot of other network marketing companies, and I didn't know anyone that was making money, to be honest. A lot of people were doing a lot of parties, spending a lot of time away from their family. They had a lot of inventory in their basement of their skincare and makeup and candles and all the things they were selling, and none of that looked appealing to me. And I didn't really know anybody who could tell me, yeah, I'm making great money doing this. So it had never appealed to me. But when I watched friends of mine, close personal friends of mine in Plexus, I was seeing real success happening for them. And it looked like Plexus had made that really simple. So when I tried the products as a customer and I loved them and I wanted to try others, I knew I wanted the cheapest price. I had seen my friends share very openly that it was easy to join the company. It was $34.95 with no strings attached. That was really appealing to me because I had heard other horror stories from other comp plans. So I joined as an ambassador, $34.95. And the very first day I joined, I started sharing on social media about Plexus, about the products. I was particularly excited because we were headed into Christmas time, and I was planning to use block to not gain holiday weight. I was going to take my block before, Christmas potluck and not gain any holiday weight. So I did a post about that, and I was blown away by the response. I had a lot of people come out of the woodwork. Some of them were close friends. Some of them were really distant acquaintances who were interested in trying these products with me and who bought the products from my website. So for 2 weeks in November, I was an ambassador, and at the end of November, I got my first paycheck, and it was $327. And I had been working on a blog. I'm also a food blogger, and I had been generating income through my blog for a few years, and I had never had a month where it was that easy to make money on my blog. And so at the end of that month, I stopped and I really had to ask myself, maybe is this something that I want to consider doing, with a little more of my time? Like I said, I was staying at home. I wasn't looking for a full-time job, but what I had done for that $327 was was fitting into my life pretty well. I enjoyed being on social media. I liked messaging back and forth with friends. I certainly liked being healthy and, losing weight and feeling good. So that seemed like something that I could totally fit into my life. I had seen friends be successful. I felt like, you know what, I think I can do this. So I decided I was going to go ahead and share about the products. Now, there were a lot of fears and things that I had to work through in the beginning because, sure, I was afraid of posting on Facebook and annoying people. I had heard a lot of people give really nasty feedback about network marketing businesses and friends who were selling products. And I was really fearful that they were going to be annoyed by me or they were going to laugh at me. There were all kinds of things like that. And I had to come to a point with the help of the Lord and the support of my husband where I was going to say, you know what? Those people and their opinions do not control my life. They certainly should not have the power over the dreams that I have for my future, for my family. And why not me? If there are other people that can go out and do this and not care what people think, why can't I do that too? So I did have to work through some of that at the beginning. So if you're at that point too, let's talk about where you can start. And hey, if you're somebody who doesn't deal with any of that fear and you're ready to get going and help people, then so much the better, because you're not going to be held back by some of those things that held me back initially and kept me from jumping in with both feet the very first month. But I was all in the second month. The first thing we want you to do is be a product of our products. But I want to make sure you understand that this is not so that you can wait until you have this really powerful personal testimony before you start talking about the products. That's not what we want you to do. We want you to start talking about the products and share about the products right away, because they have helped so many real people. It is not rumors. It is not just hearsay. There are real live people on our team who I have known for decades, whose lives are totally transformed because of what these products have done, because these products get to root health issues and they help address root issues that influence all kinds of other things, your hormones and your allergies and your migraines and so many things. So we say be a product of the product, but it's not so that you can wait to start sharing. It's because we want you to be a consistent example to people of why they want what you have. Now, in the beginning, when you start sharing, you're going to be sharing about a lot of other people and all the great things they've seen. And then as you develop your own testimony, you'll be sharing those things too. But when you are showing the world your life, people are watching you and people are seeing that you look happy and healthy, that you get to spend time with your family, and that you look free financially and not burdened by your bills or burdened by the grind of the work schedule, always having to go work extra shifts. All these things that you put out there are showing what Plexus is giving you and what it's allowing you to do in your life. And people care so much more about that than they care about the what. Okay, so when you start sharing about Plexus, a mistake a lot of people make is they kind of start putting commercials out there. Oh, you should try ProBio 5. It's a great probiotic. Look at all the strains of bacteria it has. Or, oh, you should try the pink drink. It really helps balance your blood sugar and helps you not crave sweets very much. Isn't this an awesome product? What you want to do is show people your life and make them want your life. If they see you and they want your life, then they're going to want to know your secret. They're going to want to know how to get what you have. And then you can tell them how to get what you have. It's called Plexus. So on that note, I really want to recommend that you guys watch a video called It Starts With Why. It's a TED Talk, and I will include the link to it in the comments of the thread. And it kind of goes along those lines and talks about how to share in a way that makes people appeal to you, and then how much more that makes them want your product. The second thing you need to do that's really important is you need to figure out your why for joining this business. And then in most cases, you need to dig deeper. Initially, my why for joining this business was to handle some of my hormone issues, to keep from gaining holiday weight, and to see if I could make any extra cash. And as I saw the potential, I had to deepen my why. What it became was a way for me to retire my husband and allow him to pursue a dream of medical school. He's been a physician assistant for 9 years and has wanted for a long time to go on and be a doctor. But it was something that I felt like we couldn't do because I didn't want to go into debt. I didn't want to go back and teach high school again to put him through school. And I just generally felt a lot of anxiety about that plan. So that became my why. My why became much stronger, and that allowed me to push through some times where the business was hard. Now, sometimes the business is so fun. It's so fun seeing your loved ones feel better. And it's really fun when you get, when you rank up and you get a bonus, or when you help a teammate rank up and see them get a bonus. But what's hard is someone bashes Plexus on Facebook and you feel like they're kind of making a pointed bash at you, or somebody questions the safety of the products and, kind of questions your character and your integrity in the process. Things like that can be hard. And you get through those things by having a why that is powerful enough to take you through the ups and downs. And I don't know about you, but I have to revisit my why regularly. It's so easy to forget because we're such short-term people. And so if we have a day where we feel lazy, or we just don't feel like putting in the work and doing some income producing activity that day, it's just like with working out or eating healthy. It's really easy to have a short-term mindset and not do those things. You have to have something powerful enough to push you to do them even on the days you don't feel like it. One of my favorite quotes is, "You don't get much done if you only work on the days you feel like it." So I think that having a powerful why helps you be consistent. Another thing that we need to do as we're getting started in this business kind of goes along with all that stuff before, and it's learning new self-talk. Most people don't even realize it, but they have a really negative self-talk. Sometimes you may not even see it as blatantly negative, but you might be telling yourself things that portray you in a fixed state. So I might tell myself, well, I'm just a really shy person. I could never do the Plexus thing. I'm just not a salesperson. I get uncomfortable talking to new people. I would hate to think that any friend might get annoyed, with me, blah, blah, blah. That may not seem overtly negative, but what I'm telling myself is, I'm bothering people. I don't have the capacity to get out there and do something new. The truth is that because we are human, we have the amazing ability to grow. We are not static. We can grow and we can learn and we can change and we can stretch our comfort zones. And some of this really starts with reprogramming our brain. So you may have different things that you've heard. Maybe you've heard your whole life, you're fat and ugly and nobody wants to be your friend. I have a friend who's literally was told that by her brother every day of her life. So imagine how much that is playing in her brain. For me personally, it might be really easy to say, I'm shy. No one listens to me. I get nervous talking to new people, or people will laugh at me. So I really want you to practice telling yourself positive affirmations and say them to yourself as if they are a present reality. So for example, I might say to myself, when I work with people, I come alive. Or I might say, people are drawn to me. They trust what I have to say. I might say, I have influence. I'm called to make a difference in people's lives. These are hugely powerful statements. And when I say them to myself every day, they become true. One of my favorite affirmations that I say to myself, especially on days where I'm feeling fearful, is I will say, I am willing to do what many people are afraid to do in order to accomplish the dreams that God has placed on my heart. That affirms so many things to me. It affirms that I don't have selfish motives. God has placed these dreams on my heart, that He has equipped me to go out and fulfill them. It affirms to me that I'm willing to do what a lot of people are too scared to do. It's just so powerful. And telling myself that every day changes my attitude, and it changes my business. Okay, so those things are all a little idealistic, but they're very important. They're foundational. Once you have done those things, we can start talking about the more practical things. And the first one is, you need to start noticing all the people that Plexus could help, and open up your mouth and start sharing about it. And Plexus is products, but it's also a financial opportunity. I don't know if you know this, but I think 70% of people are living paycheck to paycheck. There's a huge percentage of people in the United States who have less than $1,000 in their bank account right now. Oftentimes, financial stress is what makes us so sick and what makes us so unhealthy. So what we have to offer people in Plexus is absolutely both. It is health and wellness, and it is financial freedom. So as you are thinking of people to share with, you're thinking of people who need all of that. Need health and wellness and need financial freedom. Now, when you're thinking of people, we have a method called the Franks method, Franks. The F stands for friends. So, of course, you're thinking of your friends. You can go through your friends list on Facebook. You can go through friends from childhood, friends from high school, friends from college, friends in your community, any friends. The R in Franks stands for relatives. So be thinking of people in your family and then extended family, family members of your family members. All those people are great people to have as contacts. The A stands for acquaintances, so a little more distant friendships, but people that you interact with. The N in Franks stands for your neighborhood and your community. The people that you see when you go to the pool, the people that you see when you take your kids to story time, the people that you run into at the Kroger checkout line every week, if you're anything like me. And then the K in Franks stands for your kids' connections. A lot of us have kids, and a lot of us meet people through our kids. So be thinking and building relationships with people that you know through your kids. And the S in the Franks stands for service organizations. I like to think of that as people that serve me oftentimes. So somebody that maybe checks me out at the store, somebody that serves me at a restaurant, maybe someone who teaches a class I go to at the gym, all those people. Now, you're going to want to write those people down because it's really easy to forget the people that you want to share Plexus with. And you're going to want a list of 100 to 200 people. And this is not a hit list. This is just to help you remember the names of people that this could bless. One thing you need to know, and this is something that I was so bad about in the beginning. I would think of a name. I'd go through maybe my Facebook friends list, and every name I saw, I would tell myself why they didn't need this and why they wouldn't be interested, and I wouldn't write their name down. And I had an aha moment when I realized, Carissa, just let them tell you if they're not interested. There is no harm in offering something great to somebody, and you don't know what they're going through. You don't know if they deal with a migraine twice a week. You don't know. I mean, I certainly wasn't telling the world about my hormone issues. I didn't know about Jana's stomach issues. So you really don't know, and you really cannot tell yourself no for people. You let them tell you for themselves. And then I just want to say, too, that your posture is everything. So we really don't want to use apologetic language when we're sharing Plexus with people. We don't want to say, hey, just wanted to see if you'd heard anything about this. Don't mean to bug you, but if you have a minute, I'd love to tell you more. All of that implies this sort of nervousness and apologetic feeling about what you have to offer. And it's so much more powerful to, in your mind, realize I'm offering people the moon. I'm offering people something that could potentially transform their health. I'm offering people something that could potentially free them from debt and financial struggle, and who knows, even save their marriage. I mean, you just never know what those things can impact. And so if you believe you're offering someone a gift, it's going to come out in your language. It's going to come out in your attitude. Another tip we have for you is, as you are sharing about Plexus, use your real voice as much as possible. It's really easy in this social media driven world to do everything via, a post on your wall or a message to someone's inbox. But if you can meet up with people for coffee or lunch, or if you can have them over to your house for a play date, or if you can host a little lunch party and invite friends and have your sponsor come help you host the party, even if you're using Facebook, there's a voice message that is so much more effective than sending a written message. They're hearing the passion in your voice. They're hearing your care and concern for them. And just the fact that they see a recording pop up in their inbox and they can't read, they can't skim through it. So the curiosity oftentimes is enough to just press play and see what you have to say. So much more powerful than an email or a message. Or a phone call is another thing. A lot of people on our team have seen awesome success by just calling people up and saying, I wanted to chat with you about this. I don't know if you've seen much about Plexus, but I immediately thought of you, and God continues to place you on my heart as somebody who could really be blessed by this. I do want to say too that your sponsor can help you with wording. It's something that you practice and get a lot better with. Wording that does not turn people away, wording that ends up really being inviting and opening up those doors. So that's another thing to talk to your sponsor about that we can really, really help you with, is how to better your wording. Another thing that you need to devote effort to is personal growth. This business is so much about personal growth. I can't tell you, I told you in the beginning how much fear held me back and how much my business exploded when I stopped being afraid of what people would think, and when I stopped telling myself no for people, and I went ahead and reached out and let them give me their answer. All of that comes from growing personally and looking your fears and your obstacles in the eye and growing through them. So we really, really encourage you to watch a video, listen to a call, maybe, let's see, training video or call. Yeah, so maybe one a day. Some of those are 10 minutes. Some of them are 20 minutes. Even just one of those a day is going to do huge things for your business. Or if you can't do every day, then maybe 4 to 5 per week. But what I have found that really helps me is not just saying I'm going to do that, but going ahead and having a planner, or having a calendar and saying I'm going to do it Tuesday while I'm driving 30 minutes over to the next town. I'll do it, listen on my phone. Or say I'm going to do it at 8 o'clock right after the kids go to bed, or say I'm going to do it while I'm folding laundry, and have it on the calendar so that I make sure that I do it. Other things you can do to grow personally, there are some amazing books about network marketing and how to actually treat it like a profession. So some of our favorites for that are the book called Millionaire by Halftime. That's one of my favorites. And then other books have more to do with your mindset and how you can grow through some of the obstacles that you set up for yourself. One I really like in that category is called 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth, and that's by John Maxwell. Millionaire by Halftime is by Presley Swaggerty, by the way. Those are usually the first two that I recommend people start with, because I feel like they just cover all the bases and they're an excellent start. Take advantage of time when you can have audios on in the background. Like I said, if you're in your car, if you're doing housework, those are perfect learning opportunities where you can turn a video on or turn on a recorded call. And I also will encourage you, whenever you hear something powerful in a training, like a book or a video or a call, post that to your social media. What I have found is that people are very inspired when they see you growing as a person. If they've seen you be someone who's been timid or afraid, or, kind of settling for the status quo your whole life, and then all of a sudden they see you growing in your business, growing in your bravery, motivated, posting things from the books you're reading, that's very inspirational. It's another thing that makes people want to know your secret, want to know what you have. And so I really encourage that. And then the last thing I want to talk about is getting connected with your team. If you can find an event to go to in your area, if some local teammates are doing a training, or if they're going to do an opportunity meeting or sip and see or launch party, if you can host one and invite some team, if you can get to something even bigger, like maybe a corporate training event or a seminar that some of your team are going to, and even better if you can get to something like convention or leaders retreat, one of those really big events that the Plexus home office is putting on. That'll be so belief building, and it will be such a learning opportunity. So getting connected with anybody in your area who's in Plexus is really important. Another way to get connected with your team is go ahead and scroll your team page every day. Your sponsor is probably posting really helpful things on there every day. And so get on at least once a day and scroll through and see what's been said on there. And that's a great way. And also build some relationships with other people on your team, not just your sponsor, but some of the people that are in the same boat as you, maybe just getting started. Those are really, really great relationships to build. And then another great thing that's good about getting connected with your team is when you do your first few Facebook posts, you might get some interest. You might get some people that like your posts. You might get some people that comment and say, what's Plexus? And it's really awesome to follow up with all those people, especially the people that comment and say, I'd like more information about this. What we have found to be most powerful and the least likely to scare those people off is to start a little Facebook chat and include your sponsor so that that person can help you have some confidence in these first couple conversations. And the message we like, I'll read it to you. Hey, Sarah, thank you so much for your support on my post today. That means the world to me. I'm just getting started with Plexus, so I'm still learning everything. So I started this three-way conversation with my sponsor because, or you might say their name. Like I started this conversation with Carissa because her testimony is awesome and I really wanted you to hear it. She knows so much about the products and I want her to help us make sure we're on the right track. And then you can watch and see what your sponsor does. It's really easy to overwhelm people who ask you to tell them more about Plexus. We tend to give them way too much information, or we say it in a way that feels kind of like a TV commercial and they feel like they're being sold to and they stop responding. So what can your sponsor can do and your team can do is model for you how to keep that conversation going. And what we have found works really well is keep the conversation focused on that other person. Ask a lot of questions. Your sponsor can also help you and show you how to address the price question really effectively. Once they ask about the cost of the products, you can kind of see how your sponsor handles that question, and it'll give you a great foundation and a base for how to have those conversations on your own in the future. I did also want to mention that Shelby has a really great response, or not response, but she has a great message that she sends to people who like her Plexus posts. So I really like it. So I thought maybe in the comments of this video, we can post that as an example for something you can say to reach out to those people who like your posts. So I'll go over them all real quick for you guys. Being a product of the product, not waiting for your own testimony, but being a product of the product so that your lifestyle shows people why it's so awesome to be a part of Plexus and they want what you have. Stating your why for being a part of the business and continuing to dig deeper into it. Every month, re-examine your why and revisit it and ask yourself what has changed and what has deepened about it, and what bigger dreams you have for the future, and really envision those dreams as, what if that was a reality? What if I had that kind of freedom? And let that drive you. Learn better self-talk. Affirm yourself. Don't tell yourself things that paint you in a light of being unable to change and unable to grow. Tell yourself things as though think of the things the way you want to be, and tell yourself you are that way, because that reprograms your brain to behave that way. Notice all the people that you know, anybody you know that this could help, and write their names down and be willing to share, and don't tell yourself, oh, they won't be interested. Go ahead and share and let them respond for themselves. Use your real voice whenever you can. So get together with people in person, call them on the phone, send them a little voice message on Facebook, have them over to your house. Do that as often as you can, as many times a week as possible. Commit to personal growth. Pick up a book to read, watch training videos, listen to recorded calls. Use your time in the car. Use your time while you're washing dishes. Anytime you have time to be learning, do that and focus on growing as a person. And when other people see that, it will be inspirational and they will want to know what's changing in your life. And then lastly, get connected with your team. Scroll your team page. Be in touch with your sponsor. Build relationships with other people on your team and help and ask questions so that you can, handle the same issues together. And use your sponsor to communicate with people that are considering starting the products with you or maybe joining your team. And notice how your sponsor has those conversations so that you can have those conversations on your own as you get further into the business. Okay, that's everything I think you need to know to get started. And anything else you need to know, the team page is there for you to bring your questions to and get all kinds of information. There's lots more out there, but just take it a day at a time and you will be an expert in no time.
Cool. Thank you so much. We have about 5 minutes left. If you guys want to ask any questions, I'm going to go ahead and unmute everyone. If you do have a question, go ahead and shoot it out, and Carissa will answer for you. Except, let's see. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. This is Shelby. So I have a question about helping people realize that they would be really good at sharing products. I have a lot of really strong and inspirational friends who impact people a lot, but anytime that I talk about Plexus, they say, oh, well, I could never talk with people about that because I'm not a salesperson, or I'm too shy, or something like that. But yet they're selling things right and left and they don't even see it. And whenever I point it out to them, they still don't really view themselves that way. Mm-hmm. And I do like the feel, felt, found method, where I tell them I felt that way too, blah, blah, blah. And I feel like these people would be so good, but they don't see that in themselves.
Yeah. It may not be the answer you want, but I know I was that kind of person for my sponsor. And I know that she reached out to me many, many times, and it still took me many months to come around to the idea. And I know that the same was true for Jana. I reached out to her a year before she joined my team, and I told her, you would be amazing at this. You have such influence. I know that people would listen to what you have to say, and I know that you could be awesome at Plexus. And it took a year, and she might be able to share more about what got her to that point. But I think that as far as anything I could control, the biggest thing I was able to do is be a consistent example of how possible it is and how they really can do it. And so what I found was like being really vulnerable about the ways I had grown, because I felt that way. I felt like I cannot share about this. I do not want to annoy people. I am the furthest person from anyone who wants to do this. So in my posts and in my conversations and in anything I ever did that was, out there for the world to see, I was trying to be really open about the ways that I had transformed in that area. And also being a really consistent example of, hey, like when you find something that helps people feel good and helps you feel good, you share it, even though you thought you would never share it. So I'm trying to think too, just really any belief building, anything I could do to breathe belief into the people around me. But the biggest thing was I didn't stop. I was doing it day after day, week after week, month after month. So a year later, when Jana said, I kind of do want to give this a try, I was still over there talking about how great it was and how glad I was that I had taken that leap of faith and grown in those ways. So I don't know what else went on personally in your mind, Jana, but from my perspective, I feel like that was probably the biggest thing. But what you said, Shelby, would have been my other answer too, is to say, I felt the exact same way. And what I found was it wasn't that hard. I already tell people when I find a good sale. I already tell people if I find a new brand of, whatever. For me, it's usually groceries. If I find a new brand of food that I think you should try. So I think you're right on the money with that. But for the people that it just takes longer for, it's going to be your consistency and your breathing belief into them through your example and them seeing it for the long haul. Did you want to add to that, Jana?
Well, we have less than a minute, so if it cuts off, I'm sorry. But I think what helped me was two things. The products worked, so I was sold on that. But the other thing was that you believed that I could do it. So when I thought, silver to gold, getting to silver and getting to gold was so hard for me. And I thought, oh my goodness, I'm never going to make it. I just wanted to give up a million times, but I kept going. And I feel like connecting with my sidelines too, who could say, not only hearing it from you, but from like my friends who were doing this with me and saying, I struggled to get to gold too. So it was helpful to know that I wasn't the only one, or I wasn't the only one trying to get started. There were other people doing this too, and we were all in this together. So I really felt supported, but that's because I searched out those people for support. Mm-hmm. So, and they also believed that I could do it. I just felt like everyone was positive and encouraging. So that was helpful too. and I've learned to run with my runners. So if that's what in the senior goal, the goal or whatever session, they said, realize who is your runner and who is not. So if you think someone is going to be a great ambassador, I have someone on my team, they could be awesome. And there are a lot of them, but she was my very first one, and I know she's